How many of you would be satisfied to make at least $8,000 a month from trading? Okay. It does take a lot of hard work and dedication to be able to do so, but it's really not that hard if you go through the ropes and understanding and learning how to trade the correct way. And I'm talking about high probability setups, taking or trading a strategy that actually works. Here on this community here, and when I say community, I mean the YouTube channel here, over on the Discord, we have traders that have spent time educating themselves through watching the videos. Now, if you're on here looking for instant gratification or success, overnight success, it's not going to happen. You have to put in the work, just like anything else in life. I mean, especially if you are a person that is really fully dedicated in making a living doing something and not just looking for a quick fix and thinking that, things should fall into place overnight. They're not going to. You have to put in time to learn, educate yourself the proper way to be able to, for longevity, to be able to make income month to month to month. And that's what it takes, is really proving to yourself that you can do so on a monthly basis. I'm not just talking about in 1 week or 2 weeks, because so many people think that, I made proven to myself in demo or simulation that I could make $4,000 or $5,000 in simulation, and then the next week they go live and then they find out that it's not going to work for them. You have to spend time and prove to yourself. You have to test things, just like a scientist or engineer, a program developer, design developer that is involved in programming. You have to spend time trying to figure out and tweaking things to find out if they're going to work. If they don't, you go back to the drawing board, you fix your errors, your steps to see if things are going to run, when it comes to programming, or a scientist going through a series of things and you test a certain chemical compound or whatever the case is and it fails. Engineering, same thing. You go through a design process. You have to, do things in a systematic way to see if they're going to work. If not, you go back to the drawing board until you get to a means of perfection till it works. And then you keep doing the repetition of doing it over and over and over to find success, to see, based upon a ratio, in trading, for one, how many wins have I made using this particular strategy versus losses. So you have to put in time and allow the series of things to unfold to see if it's going to work. The strategy and how I trade, I talk about it here on the channel in so many videos, and I go through the breakdowns. For all those who are elite channel supporters or members, thank you for being loyal supporters to the channel and support my efforts as a content creator. And my kickback or give back is the trade breakdown. So if you're interested in becoming a elite channel member or supporter, just scroll down to the bottom portion of the video where you see the description at. Right below the Discord link, you'll see a link that says become an elite member today. Click on it. Make sure to choose a tier that is only $6.99 a month, and that's going to give you access to those trade breakdown videos that has helped tons of traders out that are part of our community in understanding how I trade the strategy. I trade, I go through, talking about stop losses and profit targets, because people want to understand, okay, I understand the area, the zone in which you're trading from, but could you help me understand where to take profit at or where to place my stop at and things of those natures. So, there's a lot to trading, but again, the trade breakdowns have helped tons of, I'm not going to say tons. I'm going to say it has helped traders out who are really, loyal and really, really interested and serious about trading the correct way. But this video is about, making some income, earning an income on a monthly basis. So, because maybe you want to kind of transition from your full-time to trading, full-time, meaning you want to kind of walk away from your full-time jobs on a slow pace. I'm not saying telling anybody to jump ship immediately, but you're eventually trying to set up a plan so you can exit from where you're currently working at and to move over to doing something for yourself full time. I personally believe that if you want to gain control and have full access to your own life and live life to its fullest, it's creating something for yourself, something that no one can take it away from you. Meaning, in a sense, like, how you go to college and you get that degree, can anyone take that away from you? All right, no. I mean, seriously, you spent time in and earn that. So that's that certificate, that the diploma that you're receiving, that's yours. It's proven to you that you spent time, and it's a testament to the hard work you put in. Now, what I want to talk about today is just letting you know that, and I've said this before, you may be asking, Mike, what does it take to possibly earn $8,000 or more a month? Okay, and maybe your goal is just to make $5,000 a month. To some people, that's decent income, because it is. I guess it really all depends on what part of the globe or what part of the U.S. Here in this country, this nation where you live at. But again, it's relatively speaking, it's a nice income that you can make on a daily basis. And it doesn't take a lot. It doesn't mean that you have to get into the market and start loading up on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 contracts. You can do this trading one contract or two contracts a day. I talk about it in the video. If you take 20 points, right? If it is your goal to just earn 20 points, and those that trade the NASDAQ know that this is pretty easy to do, because all we're doing is waiting for or looking for high probability setups, all right? And I'm going to say, because people are always going to ask, well, or state that, hey, not every single day does it kick off to give us a high probability supply or demand setup, does it? It depends on what you're trading. Are you trading based on higher base charts, okay, or lower base charts? You can definitely find setups on lower base charts, okay? If you don't find something on the 60, you scroll down to the 24. You don't find something on 24, scroll down to the 12. So, but I'm not saying get all the way down to like a, to where you're getting so, moving down so low on a chart to where it doesn't really make sense. So you're not really going to have much opportunity to trade, or it only gives you a few ticks. Because the lower that you do move down on a lower base chart, you're only going to be able to collect a few ticks, okay? So what I like to do is talk about confluence and marking up a zone from a higher base chart and just using a lower base chart to execute the trade to get us into a more precise entry point. But it is definitely doable, because you could take one good trade a day, trading one NASDAQ E-mini contract. I'm not talking about the micros. The micros is a good means to get your feet wet, to prove to yourself. I think the micro markets are a good means, again, to prove to yourself over a period of time that you can actually trade and execute the right way and take winning trades, all right? When you look at your profit or loss, your ratio as far as how many wins to losses you made, you've proven to yourself you can do it, then maybe switch over to the E-minis. But even trading one E-mini contract on a daily basis, picking up 20 points, that's 80 ticks, that's going to give you $400, right? Okay, well, you do that times 5, you do that every day, all right, 5 days a week. Guess what? That's $2,000 a week, right? So that's $8,000 roughly a month, all right? And you could do that even in 4 days. So if say, for example, if you picked up $500, okay, on a daily basis, and you say, well, I only trade 4 days a week, well, that's $2,000 in 4 days, okay? If you're picking up $500 a day. Some people are pulling more than just 20 points a day, okay? But you have to tell yourself and have a goal set to yourself. How many points are you looking to get out the market, all right? And trading and getting $400 or $500 a day on the NASDAQ is, you should know, especially those that have been trading and using the strategy and how I trade, and maybe put their own twist onto it. But they know by now, those that are part of the community know that picking up $400 or $500 on the NASDAQ on a daily basis is pretty easy, okay? If you think it's something hard, then there's a problem with you, okay? Because maybe you're not seeing something correctly, because the NASDAQ really does kick off some good setups. And again, I'm saying this for a reason, that sometimes you have to be more universal and be more open-minded and look outside the box, in the sense of you may be just looking at a 24 range chart waiting for a setup, or 60 range chart waiting for a setup. Sometimes you have to kind of maneuver through different charts to see, hey, is there a setup on this chart? Is there a setup on this chart? To identify, because if you're just looking at one specific chart to wait for an opportunity for a high probability setup, it may not happen. So you're gonna kind of have to look and shift around charts, and maybe even shift around to different markets. What I'm trying to say. Maybe you just use to trading the NASDAQ only. Maybe look at another market, tell yourself that, hey, I love trading the NASDAQ, but maybe it's time for me to look at a different market. Maybe it could be gold, for example. Maybe you trade crude oil. So maybe look at some other opportunity as well. So, maybe you have multiple monitors, 2, 3 monitors up. Allow one monitor to be able to focus in on one market, the next monitor set up to look in for setups on, a different market. Also, I talk about this too. Having one strategy is really key, correct, right? But you can also put into the fold, or bring into the fold, another strategy. Say, like for me, I like to trade supply and demand 98% of the time. I'll trade liquidity grab setups just as well if I see, or a sweep of liquidity, is like what I like to call them. And you may hear them be called different things, on people's various channels, whatever the case is, but I like to call them liquidity sweeps. All it is basically is where the market is. Say, for example, you have equal highs, equal lows, meaning multiple lows or multiple highs, coming out of a swing, all right? Or maybe it's a high point, meaning like a major high, and you have where the market is tested an area twice or 3 times, whatever the case is, but not broken through that area. So basically, it's that it happens at areas of support and resistance where the market sweeps that area but doesn't close below it, and then it pretty much rejects that area of support and resistance. So think about when I talk about liquidity sweeps or grabs here on the videos or within the videos, all I'm basically saying is just look for those areas of equal highs or equal lows to where the market is sweeping at areas of support and resistance, okay? For all those that are really trying to fine tune the liquidity sweep setups, okay? So maybe bring another setup into the fold, all right? And that's enough. I mean, really 2 good solid strategies is really all it takes. But we want to trade around high probability setups, okay? All right, meaning areas specifically if you're trading supply and demand, based upon high probability. When I speak on that, I'm talking about looking for zones where the supply or demand to where the market has not been mitigated, meaning that where there's a gap or a back to an area of supply or demand. Okay, and I'm just going to go through an example on in part of the strategy to show you what I'm talking about. Using a trade that I took on Friday, okay? It was a supply setup that I saw off, not supply setup, a demand setup that I saw off of the 60 range chart. And all I did was move down to my lower base, my 24 range chart, okay? And execute a trade going back long, okay? So I'm going to show you that here in a moment, but just think about it in terms. If it's your goal to make $8,000 a month, can you do so? Yes, but look for high probability setups, all right? Using a high probability strategy that will allow you to be able to make that kind of income. $8,000 a month is roughly going to give you somewhere, $96,000 to $100,000 a year. I mean, that's a good living for a lot of people out there. And if you find that is a good amount of money for yourself, especially for someone, look at what you're making now, okay? All right, and maybe some of you are making that kind of money now, but maybe you want to make that doubled. You see what I'm saying? Maybe you're making $96,000 to $100,000 now, and you say, well, if I can make that and I can learn how to trade, I just double my income to where I'm making $100,000 now, but at my job, but now let me make, an extra $100,000. So now you're making $200,000 a year. You take that money where you're making from your employer, say for example, and you're living off of that, and you're able to put some in savings. Think about the additional $100,000 you could make and what you could do with that, right? Now you're starting to set yourself up for retirement, take some trips or vacations, investing or in other opportunities, whether it be real estate or other markets, ETFs, whatever it may be. You're setting yourself up for a nice cushion, okay? So if you feel as if $96,000 to $100,000 or more, if that's your goal, leave a comment down below. Let me know what it is your goal, how much I'm not gonna say how much you're looking to make, because we know that trading, the sky's the limit. But is that appetizing to you? Okay, you guys have seen me take trade setups and talk about setups and show you trade setups. If you're an elite members, okay, and even those that follow the Discord community, and the Discord is free. So if you're interested in joining the Discord, find the link down in the description portion of the video and invite yourself in. I post trade setups and show you time and time again high probability trade setups to where you can make money. But everyone that has been following and everyone that has left me comments have at some point said, Mike, I was one that was very clicky on the charts, meaning with my mouse, just taking trades left to right. They have come to find out one of the most important and key ingredients to everything when it comes to trading is what? Patience. You have to be a patient person. When you're patient and let the markets do what they're going to do, and then you sit back and wait for it to come to a high probability setup, you guys know by now, what are the chances of the trade working out in your favor? They're pretty high, right? So sit back and wait for the market to form something that's going to work out for you, all right? And then you execute on that setup, all right? So let's jump over to the chart right quick. I just want to show you a great trade setup that I did take on a high probability demand zone off the 60 range chart, because I trade range charts. I don't trade tick, volume, time-based charts. And if you trade those and it works for you, that's fine. I always talk about here on my channel part of whatever you trade and it works for you, stick with that. That's called consistency. The more you do that in repetition, the higher your chances are to build an account up and lead you on your way to success, okay? Now, right here, this was a high probability, this was a high probability demand zone, okay? For one, let's talk about why it was. Because it was breaking structure back to the upside. Now, we could see prior to that, what was it doing? It was moving lower and we were breaking structure lower, making lower lows and lower highs. For all those that have a hard time understanding structure, please do yourself the biggest favor before you start jumping in and trading with any kind of money that you put to the side or going live. Trade and understand, let me say this. Understand and master market structure, because it's going to be the gateway into the door that's going to make the difference of you succeeding or not succeeding. So the market is moving lower here, and we see that this is a structure break below this point right here, this low that it made here at 947, meaning 19,947, the price level, okay? But then it turns back around. And what does it do? It starts to break as it's moving higher, some minor areas of structure back to the upside. This is the high right there, the major high of this swing, off the swing to the downside. Once it starts breaking through minor areas of structure back to the upside, okay, I'll be interested in looking for a long position, because not only are we breaking through some minor areas of structure back to the upside, but we're also breaking structure back to the upside as it's making these higher highs and higher lows. It pushes up here, pulls back, breaks structure above here. So this is a minor structure break above 20,009. So this makes a minor area structure break here, minor area structure break right here, up to the upside, leaving this beautiful area where there's aggressive selling coming off of this minor structure break, where there was aggressive buying to the upside. See these candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, aggressive buying to the upside. Now, what marks it? Because a lot of people always ask, what makes it the difference of a low versus a high probability? Has this zone back here where we draw our zone at? And if you're not understanding how to draw the zones, please watch and scroll through the videos on my channel. You can type in a query or search supply and demand, how to draw supply and demand zones. A video or two will pop up showing you how I do so, okay? But you can see the aggressive purchasing, aggressive buying to the upside right here. The market comes back. You see with this candle right here, broke above that last down bearish candle right there, broke to the upside. Did it immediately come back to it before it made this push to the upside? No, it didn't. It pushed up and then came back. Okay, which marks a high probability zone because we haven't tested it yet, meaning it is unmitigated. The market hasn't tested it yet. So when it gets back to this zone here, before it does, I'm gonna go ahead and mark it off, okay? Because I see that it's breaking minor areas of structure to the upside. All right, aggressive buying, left, when it moves quickly away from a zone and comes back, eventually, I'm gonna go ahead and mark that zone out. I'm gonna wait patiently for the market to come back. Again, patience is key, like I talk about. You see that the movement took place here around 11 o'clock. It took what time for it to come back to the zone? About 30 minutes later. All right, so then I just moved down to my lower base chart. This zone right here, this blue box, this is that 60 range demand zone I marked up. So I made it to where you can see it across all charts. Now we're in the 24 range, the lower base chart. Confluence, that's what I'm looking for, using multiple charts to get me into a trade. The reason why I moved down to a lower base chart is to get me more into precise entry point, but also look for further means of rejection, which is key to getting into a trade, okay? So I'm using two charts. I'm not just allowing one chart to tell me to get into a trade or once it gets back to a zone. I want to see what happens on our follows when it gets back to a lower base chart. Two things. We see the higher base zone here, right? All right, is there confluence on a lower base chart as well? Yes, if I go up here and I get me a rectangle, here's a demand zone just as well, right here. You see it? Okay, so we have a zone within a zone. We have a 24 range zone within a 60 range zone. That's going to give me more confluence to get into the trade. So what we have here is that on the 24 range chart, we see the market, excuse me one second. Okay, moving back to this 60 range demand zone. Okay, and again, inside of it, we have a demand zone here, which is a 24 range demand zone. Now it's like 1 or 2 ticks away. I'll talk about this in multiple videos. If we're only a few ticks away from tapping into the zone and then I start to see rejection, I'm going to look for rejection with the break and close, meaning well, a candle has breaking above and close above the last down candle, closing above it, and then I'm going to go long. All right, but again, if I'm looking back at my higher base chart, my 60 range, look. I look here, I don't, on the retracement here, I don't see what the market is, basically making, okay, it made a high here, all right, so for example, to move up, and then it made a high, and made a low, lower high, so where it's making lower lows, lower highs, it just immediately pulled back to it. When I see setups like that, and we have gaps above us at a high probability zone, I'm going to take the trade aiming for those areas of, to fill in these gaps here and run the high back up here at 20,041. Because people always ask, hey, if I get into a high probability setup and there's really nothing, resting above, I'm talking about price action to where it's making lower lows and lower highs, creating areas, say for example, of resistance above us, then I'm going to look to take the trade back up to fill the gaps here. As you can see here, there's imbalances resting right here, or a lot of you guys like to call them fair value gaps. And then you have this high, resting right here at 20,041 to run that high as well. So moving back to the 24 range chart, okay, it comes back to this area here. We got two means of, I got confluence there on two charts. On the 60 range, a demand zone. On the 24R, a demand zone. I'm looking for the break and close. So if I get it, once I see the market break above, so maybe you got in here at 19,987, and then you're looking to aim up here in this area here, and looking back again over the higher base chart. because the zone was marked off the higher base chart. So once I see it pull back on my lower base chart to an area of confluence or a zone of confluence on the 24R, then I'm just looking to see where on the higher base chart could it actually, trade back up to. And of course, I showed you on the 60 range where it could take that high out. That's all I'm really looking for, okay? It's all about high probability setups because those are the ones that are going to work. And I'm going to show you this trade that I took because I took it over. I posted it on the Discord. I'll bring it over now. Right here, okay? This is the trade right here, all right? You can see it. This was the 24 range chart here. This was that area here, rejected, and it moves up. So this trade right here, I think I picked it like 17 points. I believe it was right there. I could have picked it up a whole lot more because it actually ran the high up there. But I took a few trade setups on Friday, and that was it for me. I mean, it was easy for me to pick up $400 or $500, and that's easy on a daily basis if you're just looking for one high probability setup. And in this case here, this was a high probability setup off of a higher base chart, and then we had confluence even with on a lower base chart. So two means a confluence on two charts was all that I really needed. So if I go over to bringing the trade back up here that I posted over in Discord, I marked it right here, as you can see, 60R demand zone. So what do we have right here? That's that 60R demand zone, and it rejects it. Boom, breaks to the upside right there. That's all you really need is one good high probability setup to get you at that mark of $400 or $500 a day. And maybe it's part of your trading plan to where you maybe just trading 4 days a week. Or if you trade 5 days a week, you could definitely, look to pick up that $2,000 weekly to put you at the $8,000 monthly or goal to where you can make $8,000 a month of earned income from trading. That's all it really takes. So again, I talk about more trade setups like this where I break down in detail trades that I actually took, ones that I posted over in the Discord community, and broken them down. For all those that are elite members, you already know. I appreciate all the comments and you guys thanking me for making such valuable content like that over on the private community for those that are part of the elite or who are an elite member. If you're not an elite member, you want to join, because people always DM me and send me messages, how can they become an elite member? Just again, scroll down to the bottom portion of the video here. You'll see in the description portion of the video, you'll see two links there. First, if you want to become a Discord member, again, for free, click on it, join, okay? It's free. Below it, you have the chance to become an elite channel supporter or elite member. Click on that. 2 tiers will pop up. Make sure you choose the one for $6.99 a month. Not $699, but $6.99 a month. That's all it is. Very nominal fee to gain access to a lot of valuable content that may help you in your own personal trading, okay? Again, it's only $6.99 a month. Now, if you aren't a sub already, I would highly recommend you go ahead and take the time and click on that subscribe button right now. Become part of the community. Valuable information here. Content that will help you in your own trading. If you don't believe me, you can come over to our Discord community and ask away. Okay, you'll see people on there that post and actually stated on there, hey, Mike's Elite Videos, if you become part of that private community, has helped them tremendously, help them out. Also, just spend some time and educate yourself and watching the videos. If you watch the videos, you probably could educate yourself just as well. But for those that want to gain access to that other extra content, thank you for everyone who's currently supporting the channel as an elite member. Thank you for doing so. But if you're not a current subscriber, please, again, take the time, click on the sub button, make sure to turn your post notifications on so you do not miss one of the uploads here in the channel. And last but not least, if you found value in today's content, please drop a like on the video. I'll see you starting off tomorrow's Monday, so another trading week, and hopefully everyone will have a successful trading week as well. And maybe you're kind of struggling in some areas. I'm not sure what it is, because everybody tends to have different issues when it comes to, I'm not gonna say so much just trading alone, because a lot of this is tied to psychology just as well. People don't believe it, but 90% of the reason why people fail in this business is all due to their psychology, not so much because they don't understand how to trade the correct way. It's just they're not understanding and eliminating the issues at hand to where something that they may be struggling with, okay? Are you over trading, okay? Are you someone that's in this business just trying to take every trade and not waiting patiently? Are you a very, very irrational person? Do you trade off of emotions or fears? You have to kind of sit back and understand and look to see where your problems lie at, and any of those any psychological issues that you may be suffering from. Eventually in time, as you spend more time trading and perfecting it, those type of issues will slowly kind of dissipate, and you'll be able to gain better control of your emotions, the psychological components or issues that you may be struggling with. But outside of that, I just wanted to leave on a good note. I wish everybody a successful and safe week. Take care. See you in the next one. Wants to actually take the trade. Not only that,